everyone, and welcome back. I am Nicole and this is my channel, Letting It Be So. I'm coming back to you again with another edition of Friday Sews, the hashtag where everyone posts a video on a Friday to chat about what's been going on in their crafty sewing week, what they've been making, what they've been planning to make, all those good stuff that everyone loves to know about what everyone else is getting up to in the sewing world. Okay, so we'll start with what I'm wearing, because what I'm wearing is also a finished object. So I am wearing my finished Nell Blouse by Teddy the Buttons. So I finished this last week. How am I going to show you this? I have taken a bunch of photos to insert to give you like the proper full length view of it, because it's really difficult to show off something properly when you're actually wearing it. If I just like lean up a little bit like a weirdo, yeah, this is my finished Teddy the Buttons blouse. I'm really enjoying, I think my favourite part of this is this puffball sleeve. That was really, it was one of those things where I think that if you had sat down and thought about it, you might have worked out like how to create something like that. But it would just, you know, it would not even occur to me to sit down and think about that. So having it in the pattern as an option was really good, and I really enjoy the effect of it, and it's a very simple like way to get that effect. So yeah, I'm really happy with it, but I am undecided about whether I need to make any adjustments on the pattern for this when I make it again, because I would like to make it again. This is one of those things where I have, I've worn this. I've also like looked at pictures of other people who've made theirs wearing, and I genuinely, I'm on the fence. So if you look at my shoulder seam, you can see that so this is where the shoulder seam is, but that is not at the top of my shoulder. At the top of my shoulder is like there. So it's not sitting, this seam is not sitting on my shoulder like it should be up here somewhere. But I feel like this is meant to be like a little bit oversized, so not necessarily dead on like that. And I've definitely seen, in a few people's examples of them wearing ones that they've made, theirs aren't sitting like dead on point of top of your shoulder. However, I think probably what is making me lean towards maybe there needs to be some small adjustment made is the fact that, again, I can't really show you very well, but because it's got an oversized fit, like this neckline is very low. Everyone has their personal preference. My personal preference is not, and that is mostly because it is a potential for disaster because I am I don't really know how much I've mentioned my sort of like general measurements, but I'm like 5'3". My top half is the narrowest. Like I've got very narrow shoulders and a very narrow rib cage, and then I go in at the waist, and then we have this. So in this region, there ain't no boobies. We have got nothing to fill up, any of this. And I think that where I've seen other people who have got a similar thing, they have more in the bust department than I have, which isn't hard because I don't have anything. So I think that's kind of taken some of that. So I just feel a little bit worried that if I bend forward, if I drop a pencil on the street, as one does, that if I bend over, I will be flashing my bra. So I am thinking that I either want to do a narrow shoulder adjustment to bring this in a little bit, because I think that if it's sitting in a bit more, then that won't be quite as obvious. Or the other thing I might want to do is just actually like raise the neckline a bit. So I think I need to wear it a little bit more just to get a sense of what it really is that's, you know, that's troubling me somewhat. But yeah, I think probably it's the risk of flashing people is the thing that troubles me most. But the only other thing is I feel like there's maybe one button too many. Yeah, I think, you know, I would like the option of being able to tuck this into, you know, jeans or whatever. But I feel like there's a button, the last button is a lot closer to the bottom of the blouse than I feel like is usual. So yeah, I think if I made it again, I would only do there's six buttons. So I think I would probably only do 5 just to give me the option of not having, or I guess you could do it and then yeah, I just think it's not necessary. I don't think that by omitting one button, if you didn't have it untucked, you would have loads at the bottom like flapping about. So yeah, I think that's the other thing that I would do is that, yeah, I feel like, yeah, to give you the option of tucking easily, particularly if you want to do the ties, I would, yeah, either not do that last button or not to do the last tie, like only have 5 ties but 6 buttons. So yeah, but yeah, that is the Nell Blouse. So last week I said that there was another blouse that I wanted to try because I was keen to get some more woven patterns that I hadn't made before sewn up. And yeah, so the next one that I cut out was the Anthea Blouse. So this is, well, I mean, technically it is finished, but I have some issues with it, which is not the fault of the pattern at all. So I have made it in this viscose. So it's quite a lightweight viscose that I got from La Bousie. So yeah, you can see the puff sleeve. And yeah, it was such a straightforward pattern. Like, there's so few pattern pieces. It really is, you know, a very easy pattern. But the problems that I have with this are, I seem to have the opposite problem with this as to what I have with this, in that the shoulder seam feels a little bit too tight. Like, if I can compare, you know, it's, yeah, the shoulder seam seems too narrow and it feels just a little bit snug, like where the underarm seam is on me, as is often the case, and is so frustrating because it's literally always like the last thing you do is I'll come a cropper with buttons, and this is probably purely me not picking the right supplies for this. So like I say, it's a lightweight viscose, and I thought that I would err on the side of more lightweight when I was picking my interfacing. So there's a button band just like folded over, and you interface on the front of the back, and then you fold it over, so you've got that little bit of interfacing where eventually is going to be your button band with your buttons and your buttonholes. But I think I should have used a slightly thicker interfacing, because with this being viscose and it being relatively close to the edge, because it's a quite thin button band, my fabric started moving again. Well, it was kind of getting caught under the foot, the buttonhole foot, and it was kind of taking a little like tuck. So like there was a little pleat that was then getting incorporated into the buttonhole. So I'm going to try and show you what I mean. So here we have a good buttonhole. You know, looks fine. And then this one here, you can see where it's pleated in. And so now you've got this like wavy edge. And yeah, it happened with a couple of them. I did unpick them and have another go. But yeah, I was too scared to try and unpick another time, because like I say, this is quite lightweight fabric and I didn't think it would survive another unpicking. And probably because of the size of the buttons that I've picked, the very top one like has gone really wrong. But again, I'm just too scared to unpick it again. So I think, just so this is wearable, like I say, this was fabric that I bought as a remnant, like I wasn't particularly precious about it. So I think just to make it wearable, what I will probably do is just kind of like fold down the front and just sew it down. So it will kind of give me like a round and then a, you know, one of those little like more like keyhole neckline type things. Just because, yeah, that buttonhole it's not buttonholing, and then at least it's wearable. And again, yeah, see how I feel about it and see if I want to make any adjustments. But yeah, like I say, the pattern was, yeah, so straightforward. It is really simple to do. Like it would be great for like a confident beginner, I think. Like there isn't anything particularly difficult. There's only a few pattern pieces. Obviously there's a reasonable amount of gathering for the puffball sleeves, because you've got gathering into the cuff of it and into the armhole as well. But yeah, yeah, sometimes the buttonhole gods are just not on our side, right? But yeah, that's the Anthea. So in terms of other things, like some more plans other than the bags, like I say, I've made a couple of blouses, and yeah, I think I know what I want to do in terms of making those with perhaps more precious to me fabrics, or making some adjustments before I do that. But the other thing that, having had a look at my wardrobe, that I feel like I'm lacking is dresses. I am in general quite, you know, a jeans and a top, be it a t-shirt or a, you know, a blouse or what have you. But I do like dresses. I do like to wear dresses. I just, yeah, I think for whatever reason, I think because they come with a bit more in terms of particularly like woven dresses. Like I say, I've got a narrow top half and then a curvier bottom half, so quite often that puts me across like at least a couple of pattern sizes, that then you have to sort of make that assessment of, is the skirt full enough with the ease that it doesn't matter, and I can go for the size that will fit the smallest part of me. Yeah, I don't know why. So there's actually a dress that I was wearing around the house the other day when it was super hot, which is the Quincy Dress by Jennifer Lauren Handmade, which is just like a, I don't know if it technically counts as a shirt dress because it's only got like buttons to the waist. Kind of has a similar feel to some of these blouses that I've made, but it's got a really cool pocket. I'll share a link, or I'll try and put a picture up of the one I have to show you all what I mean. But it's, yeah, just a nice, easy to throw on dress that you can wear either bare legs, or I've worn it with leggings, and you can, like, you know, put a jumper over it or a cardigan over it if you need to, depending on what the weather's doing. And yeah, I've been, you know, as soon as I made it, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely would make this again, but then haven't got around to it. So I've pulled out a couple of options from my fabric stash of some cotton lawns that, yeah, have been kicking around for a while, that could definitely be a Quincy dress. So I've got two that I bought, yeah, quite some time ago. They were from Sew Over It. It was when they were doing their own prints. So I've got this black one with these pink and blue flowers on. I've no idea what the print was called, because yeah, it's been in my stash a good while now, because I don't think Sew Over It have done their own prints for quite some time. So I've got that one in black, but my Quincy dress that I've already made is in it's in the black Atelier Brunette. It's the one, I think, I'm not sure what the print is called, but it's like got origami birds on it. And then I've got the same print, but I've got it in navy blue with blue, are they just blue? Yeah, they are just blue flowers. So yeah, got those two options, but like I say, I feel like since I already have a black dress, that probably I shouldn't use the black fabric, but it is an option. The one is this Lady McElroy print. So this is, I'm trying to decide whether it's blue or grey. I feel like it's bluey grey. It's coming up a little bit more grey on the camera, but yeah, it's got these sort of sketched, painterly hummingbirds and flowers on. So yeah, that's obviously a lighter colour fabric, so you know, maybe is more something that you would only wear in sort of spring summer months, so that might sway me towards the navy blue option. A Quincy dress with at least one of those. I mean, obviously I could make two, that would be fine. Like I say, I don't remember how long it took me last time, but I feel like it's a fairly straightforward pattern. It's nothing too wild going on, but yeah, so that's my plan for a dress. That's all of the sewing content that I have. In terms of other stuff this week, obviously today, as this video is gonna go live on Friday, is the start of the Premier League football season, so the first game will be tonight. So I'm looking forward to that. My team, which is Tottenham Hotspur, we don't play our first game until Monday, but yeah, excited for that to start. I'm going to be at a game for the men's team in the middle of September. So my dad and my brother have season tickets, which means that they have a ticket in the same seat for every home game that the men's team play. And because my parents booked a holiday, not knowing exactly when some of the games were going to be on, they're going to be away for one of them, so I can have my dad's ticket. So that will be my first game. So yes, that's my kind of deadline for making backpack, because I said I wanted a small size backpack to be my bag to take to the football. So yeah, September, middle of September. So I've got time. I've got a couple of weeks at least. But in terms of me having a season ticket, I actually bought one for the women's team at the end of last week. So I went to quite a lot of our women's team's games last season with a friend who lives walking distance from where the women's team play typically, and it was a really good season for our team. We had a new manager who's come in and brought some good stuff, and we got all the way to the FA Cup final, which they had never done before. So we got to go to Wembley, support them, which is really, you know, a massive achievement. Yeah, I decided that because we'd been to so many games last year, it made sense to get a season ticket. So me and my friend coordinated so we could get seats next to each other. But the women's season starts later than the men's, so I think it might be the week after I go to the first men's game that I will actually be physically present at, is when the women's season starts. So there's a little bit of time for that as well. So yeah, I'm excited for football. The other thing that I'm kind of gradually working my way through is decluttering. So I moved into this flat in October last year, so it's rapidly approaching having been here a year, which is kind of wild, and feels like it's gone in a flash. But yes, there are still there's still a couple of boxes that are not unpacked, and there's still stuff that's kind of just sitting around waiting for me to go through it. So yeah, I'm definitely feeling the need to get into a bit more decluttering. And not so much with the fabric stash, although I might have another go through it, just to check, because I do think I have some fabrics that I bought, at the very, very start of learning to sew that I probably will never use because they're not the sort of fabrics that I like to sew with anymore. But yeah, there's just little piles of bits and pieces. I'm looking around at the various collections of clutter right now. So yeah, I think because next year I would probably quite like to decorate in this room, that I need to do some decluttering, so then I know what stuff I'm keeping and then what I need to do in terms of like decorating, and if I want to build in any storage, how much storage I need to build in. So if anyone has any tips for motivating them to declutter stuff. I did some in the kitchen yesterday, and then I feel really good now each time I go in there and there's like a clear space on the worktop which had been covered in little little boxes. So there is that satisfaction and gratification to doing it. It's just often the case that, if I have a choice between sewing or decluttering, which is kind of basically tidying or cleaning, the sewing tends to be the thing that I pick. So yes, that is my mission, and if I've said it to you, that means that maybe you can hold me accountable to it, and maybe I will actually do it. But yes, decluttering needs to be the order of the next few months at least. Alright, that's all I have to share with you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe. Leave me a comment if you have any thoughts about the blouses that I've made, if you'd do anything different in terms of adjusting things. I'd always happy to hear what other people think. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will chat to you all again next week. Bye everybody.